Hello, and thank you for watching this critical thinking webinar on fallacies, part 1. In this lesson, we will be talking about 9 fallacies of relevance that are covered in section 4, lesson 1. Our first fallacy of relevance is called the ad hominem fallacy. This fallacy is commonly known as attacking the person and is committed whenever someone attacks the person who is making an argument rather than the argument itself. In our example, you will see that I am claiming that Singer's argument is false because I consider Singer to be a hypocrite. Whether or not this is true is not relevant to the argument he is making. As such, this is an example of the ad hominem or attacking the person fallacy. Our second fallacy of relevance is called the genetic fallacy and is committed whenever someone focuses on where the argument originated from as a reason to accept or reject the argument. In our example, you will see that I am focusing on where your idea originates from, in this case, your father, rather than on the argument you are making. The fact is irrelevant to whether or not your idea is a good one. As such, it is a good example of the genetic fallacy. Our third fallacy of relevance is called the straw figure fallacy. This fallacy is committed whenever someone purposefully misrepresents another's argument in order to create an easier argument to attack. In our example, you will see that I misrepresent an argument to make it seem that my opponent is unwilling to invest in our children's education. In reality, the only thing she is claiming that she does not want to raise taxes to pay for a new stadium. It would be much easier for me to attack an argument about children's education, but this is not what her argument is actually about. As such, this is a clear example of the straw figure fallacy, as I am misrepresenting my opponent's position. Our fourth fallacy of relevance is called the red herring fallacy. This fallacy is committed whenever someone introduces an irrelevant topic that distracts others from the original argument. In our example, you will see that I am bringing up an irrelevant topic. In this case, that every citizen deserves to retire with dignity, which has nothing to do with the senator's argument concerning the national debt. Because of this is a good example of the red herring fallacy, as my comments about retiring with dignity can distract you from what the senator is actually saying. Our fifth fallacy of relevance is called the appeal to authority fallacy. This fallacy occurs whenever you appeal to an unqualified authority figure to support your claim. In this example, I am using Albert Einstein, who was an authoritative scientist, to support my claim about American sculptors. Simply being an authority figure in one discipline does not make you an authority figure in all disciplines. As such, this is a clear example of the appeal to authority fallacy. Our sixth fallacy of relevance is called the appeal to force fallacy. If I were to use a threat to get you to agree with my argument, shown here when I threaten to fire you if you do not support my position, then I am clearly committing the appeal to force fallacy. Our seventh fallacy of relevance is called the appeal to popularity fallacy. This fallacy occurs whenever someone uses the fact that something is popular as a reason to affirm the truth of an argument. In this example, I suggest that a certain phone must be the best simply because it is very popular. The popularity of something is not related to the claim that it might be the best, and as such, this is a good example of the appeal to popularity fallacy. Our eighth fallacy of relevance is called the appeal to consequences fallacy. This fallacy occurs whenever I appeal to the consequences of accepting a claim as a reason to reject or accept my argument. In this example, you will see that because I am uncomfortable with the thought of a company going bankrupt, I use this as a reason to reject the latest sales projections. My feelings about bankruptcy are irrelevant to the truthfulness of the sales projections. And as such, this is a clear example of the appeal to consequences fallacy. Our final fallacy of relevance is called the equivocation fallacy. This fallacy occurs whenever I use the same word in two different ways. In this example, I am using the term argue, which can either mean to reason well or to angrily disagree in a single argument. Often, this fallacy occurs whenever vague or ambiguous language is deliberately used with the intent of deceiving others. When this happens, the equivocation fallacy has been committed. This concludes our webinar on the fallacies of relevance. For additional help, please refer to Section 4, Lesson 1 in your learning resource. Thank you.